You've been lied to about discipline. Everything I see online, social media, YouTube videos, whatever you want to talk about, that preaches discipline, always seems to talk about pushing through all the things you don't want to do, right? Forcing yourself to go to the gym when you don't want to go to the gym, forcing yourself to do deep work for 8 hours a day, whatever you want to talk about, which in a sense is correct, but the way it's taught is completely wrong. You're taught to almost rely on your willpower most of the time of like, oh man, this is exactly the opposite of what I want to do, and I'm going to go force myself to do it. And then you're expected to do that every single day. What that does is it stacks up over and over and over again. And in case you didn't know, your willpower is like a muscle, right? If you go to the gym and you do bicep curls, right, you're going to get to a point where you can no longer do bicep curls, right? You sit there, it's going to get, your muscles are going to get fatigued, and all of a sudden you can't get that weight up at all, right? I mean, that's how I train. I go to failure. That's what you do. When it comes to willpower, though, it's very, very similar to that muscle. You can only use it a certain amount of times over and over and over again until it gives out and you can't do it anymore. Like, you can't use that willpower anymore. Willpower is meant as a reserve fuel almost, like where you only use it in the times where you really, really need it, where you really, really are tired, not feeling like you want to go do anything. That's when you use your willpower. But that shouldn't be every single day. So the way I'm going to tell you about discipline, hopefully it helps you kind of shift your view around of discipline and makes it not seem like a thing that's so far away, so hard to achieve, and it's just a straight grind to achieve, because it's really not. It's an everlasting battle with comfort and where you kind of want to be a lot of the times, but it's not hard, and it's not something that's reserved for only the best of the best. So it's funny, I tried to make this video last week and I found out I didn't record, so I'm praying this one records. But okay, essentially the discipline that you see the people online have that do the same thing over and over and over again, they make a ton of money, or they're really jacked, or those are my favorite examples to use, because that's what we see all over social media. But it's kind of like with anything. But the way those people achieve that discipline is through a true love for what they're doing, right? You don't see anybody who makes millions of dollars and has stuck with it for years and years and years at a time who doesn't actually really like what they're doing. Like, no one does that, and people always burn out. That's why you always burn out, and that's why I have always burnt out, trying to force myself to do things I don't want to do. If you work at a job for a certain amount of time and you just hate the job, you're going to put in minimal effort, right? A lot of people stick with the job because it pays them, whatever, but you put in minimal effort. You don't really care about it. If you try and force yourself to go to the gym every day and you just don't like working out, which is something you should learn to like, but you just don't like working out, you're never gonna stick with it. Like you're gonna get to a point where you wake up in the morning, you're like, I am way too tired. I don't feel like doing this anymore. I'd rather sit on my phone. And that's what you're gonna do, right? And I'm not hating on you, calling, oh, you're a loser for doing that. I've done it a million times. And it's human nature. That's natural for you to not have any more willpower to do the thing you don't want to do. That's why you have to find something you like to do, or you have to get to the point where you really do like doing something. That's why the beginning of a grind, essentially, whatever you want to say, is the hardest, because you don't know if you like it yet. When people first start going to the gym and it's really hard, that's why a lot of people quit. That's why you see the gym filled up on New Year's Day, whatever, when that's their gym resolution. And then a month later, there's no one in there, because people started out and it's hard at the beginning. They have to use their willpower to grind through it, to push through it. And then they all quit because they're like, oh, I don't care. That's why the way you build discipline, true discipline, into whatever you're doing is, one, you essentially need to start out, this is the way I do it. There's multiple ways to do it. This is the way I do it that helps me the most. You almost need to gamify it. You need to say, okay, this is my goal. I'm going to do this until I reach this point. And at this point, then I can see the progress I've made. Before then, you can't judge anything that happens. As a beginner, when you start out, of course, you're not going to be as good as the people you see online. That's why it's good to not compare yourself to people. But you're not going to be as good as the people you see online, and that's going to make you feel inferior, right? So that's why you kind of need to block out everything, and you say, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, Z for this amount of time, or I'm going to make it a goal to go to the gym 5 days a week, and that's my only goal. I don't care about numbers. I don't care about, how well I'm doing. My goal is consistency. And as you start to build that consistency, then you take points throughout that time period, whatever, and you look at things and you say, hey, I've gotten XYZ amount better, right? This is, look at where my weight, look where my numbers have been going in the gym. You can do this with business. You can do this with, even like some skill you're trying to learn, or you can use it in school, whatever you want to do, right? It's something you can use in everyday life. But essentially you take that time period, then you start to see, oh, wait, I'm doing better. I'm doing better. I'm doing better. Then that's your motivation. Your motivation is that, hey, I'm doing better each and every time. Discipline comes with motivation. People always like to say, motivation is fleeting, discipline is forever, right? That's some bullshit. I'm going to be honest with you. That's some bullshit. Because how can you ever stick with something if you're only using willpower, right? Like I said, willpower doesn't work. So where does the power come from? Well, it comes from discipline, as people like to say, because you built that discipline. The foundation of discipline is motivation. This is your discipline right here, right? The thing that propels it, that keeps you moving, is the motivation. And when you build motivation, because you can see past results of success, right? Your past results of success in the gym, I've seen that my weight has been going up if I've been consistent as I've been going. So guess what? My motivation is the goal of the next weight and the fact that I have progressed before, right? It's really easy to understand when you kind of break it down like this. Motivation is not something you should shy away from. This is what I did when I first started my, journey. I was like, well, motivation, I can't be motivated with stuff. So I'm going to try to not be motivated with stuff and just grind and grind and grind. And it failed every single time. Willpower is your external reserve. Your discipline right here, right? Your discipline is something that gets propelled by your motivation to like your overall self-image of what you have of yourself is what you ultimately work towards. Your discipline is what gets there. The motivation is what gets it there. And your willpower is like a tiny little thing right here that when motivation falls off a little bit, it keeps it moving. It's probably such a stupid looking diagram or whatever example I'm doing. I hope the camera's even catching it. But it's like, this is some bullshit. Like the way it's taught online is some bullshit because it keeps people from ever making any progress because all they do is just get burnt out. They just get burnt out like over and over and over again. You can't take the end goal of what you see with people online of the Lambos and the Miami penthouse and the, dream body, whatever, like, and expect yourself to do that right away. And so when that is your goal, when your goal is the outcome, here's another thing I'll go into. When your goal is the outcome, you'll never reach that outcome. And the outcome, like once you change it, and start to use the process as your thing, right? The man who loves walking will always walk farther than the man who, I forgot how it actually goes. Shit. Either way, the man who loves walking will always go farther than the man who is walking to reach a point. That's the best way to say it. If this is your goal, right, and you don't love doing this, you're gonna burn out because this tiny little bit of willpower always falls off when you try and use it too much. It's a muscle. It's literally a muscle, and it can be trained to become better and better and better, but you're never gonna be able to rely solely on willpower. I don't know why you'd want to either. Life would be miserable. That's why the grind, a lot of times that people like to say, feels miserable because you don't actually want to do what you're doing. You gotta get things that you really want to do, or you gotta make those things that you don't want to do into things you want to do. Right? And that comes with visualization, that comes with understanding why you even are doing the thing you don't want to do, that comes with like changing your self-image. There's so much like deeper psychology that goes into that, which I'll go more into in future videos. But either way, what you need to remember for right now is originally, this is the best way to put it. It's kind of like 3 steps, right? Originally, you have the motivation that's getting you to the next point in your journey towards the overall goal, right? A lot of times your overall goal is status or whatever. Like a lot of people like to say their overall goal is, oh, I want the money, oh, I want the body, oh, I want the, whatever that comes with this. That's not truly your overall goal. And if that's your overall goal, you're gonna fail, right? If your outcome is your goal, you're gonna fail. You should really want to learn the skill, right? When I'm learning a new skill, it gets to the point where I just want to learn the skill. I don't even care the money that comes with it. Like the money is a byproduct of a money-making skill that you're learning. What you're actually learning is the skill. You're getting better at the skill. So focus on the skill. So you have your outcome up here. You have your little goals along the way. Those little goals are what give you motivation originally. You're like, oh, I just reached this new height. Good to see a little bit of progress when I'm doing this thing I don't want to do. Oh, I reached the next goal, right? Good to see a little bit of progress when I'm doing the thing I don't want to do. And then what happens as you continue doing that and as you continue process, you begin to love it. It happens every single time. And if you never begin to love it, you will never make it to your ultimate goal. I'm telling you this, if you never learn to love what you're doing, you'll never make it to your ultimate goal. If it's a very big goal, a very big dream, you'll never make it there if you don't love it. So as you start to get this, and as you start to see progress of all the success before, you have all the success before that's propelling you up motivation-wise, then you begin to be like, you love reaching the next goal. It's a huge trigger of dopamine in your brain. You, like I said, you gamify it. You make it into a game. Every time you reach a new level, it triggers dopamine in your brain, and all you want to do is reach the next level and reach the next level and keep going and going and going and going. All the people who you see that are at the top of their fields, this is what they do. They keep making progress over and over and over again, and they've learned to love the progress. They've learned to love the next level every single time. I'm telling you, this is the way. Like, if you want to succeed, you have to understand this, okay? So then you have your original motivation of, I just want to reach the first level. Then as you keep reaching levels, then you begin to love it. That's your actual motivation. That's what you should be relying on most of the time. The fact that it's just something you want to do, and you won't even notice it. You'll just start doing the thing because it's exactly what you want to do. Like I'm kind of at this point with how I'm living my life right now, where I have multiple things that I just want to do that most people would not want to do, and most people would never stick with, because I've pushed through the hard part of it, and now I'm just coasting. It's like coasting. When you learn to love the struggle, it's literally coasting. It's easy. It's just doing the same thing over and over and over again and just pushing yourself over and over and over again, but you love it. I don't know what a better way to explain it. You just love it. And then finally, you have your willpower, right? If you right now think that willpower is the most important thing, right, to building discipline, which is what social media has told you, I need you to break that belief in your head, because that is a limiting belief that will keep you from going anywhere. Willpower is shit. It's useful, but it's shit in getting you where you want to go. Because it's a tiny little thing attached to this, rocket ship of whatever. Like, it's a tiny little thing on here that is only used when, right, let's say this is your gap between a level, and you're right here. You're so close, but it's taken so long and you're starting to burn out, and all of a sudden that love for it, that other motivation is like waning, it's coming down. You're like, oh, okay, wait, I'm not reaching this level as quick as I've reached the other ones, which will inevitably happen as you set higher and higher goals. That's when you use the motivation, because you get this tiny little boost, right? You're like, oh, I gotta keep pushing. Like, I don't want to do this, but I gotta keep pushing. Get a tiny little boost to the next level, bang, you're all in again. You get that kick of dopamine, bang, now all you want to do is reach the next level, and that next level will come even quicker than this one, because this was a harder one, right? Like, it's a video game. Life is a video game. I don't know how many times I need to say it. Turn it into a game, right? You have those 3 steps of discipline, essentially. Discipline isn't hard to learn. It's not hard to achieve. It's hard to master, right? The people at the top of the fields have mastered it, where they're just doing the thing they love all the time. It's obsession. It's literally obsession. The way you can improve your discipline is become obsessed with something. These guys aren't insane people. David Goggins likes to preach, like, I just never want to, like, I got to just go out and grind every day. You don't think he loves what he does? You don't think he loves the struggle? And you don't think he loves the status he's gained from it? Of course he does. Of course he does. And that's not to put him down or anything. He just portrays it as he's grinding every single day, and he hates what he does, but he's just grinding it out. Actually, I may be putting words in his mouth. I think he said multiple times, like, how much he loves the struggle. Exactly. That's the reason why. Right? It's not a struggle almost. He loves pushing himself. You need to love doing whatever you're doing. Because when you love it, it's never going to feel like work. People have said that a million times, right? You've seen that quote before, I guarantee it. Like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Exactly. It's my whole point. That's pretty much all I have to say for today. I could keep spinning around on the same topic for hours, but that's all I got to say. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Last video has been cooking up, like a ton of views, bro. I feel like I'm almost at 100, so appreciate that. And yeah, have a good one.